I wish this was an April Fool's joke. Alright, even if it was, it wouldn't be that funny either, but I'll just cut to the chase. I quit. I'm quitting. I want to quit, but I can't quit. How does that make sense? Today's video is going to be vague and pretty strange in a sense, especially coming from someone like me, as it's going to be following an unstructured commentary form, so please bear with me. For a while now, I have not been posting or uploading, and some are asking about my whereabouts, whatever I'm currently doing, or my future plans. So I'm just gonna make it quick with the context. I'm Pixel. I've committed the entirety of this channel to a Roblox game called Doodle World. A year ago, I've been accepted into the thriving group of content creators for the game itself, where I then continued making Doodle World videos. I was definitely overjoyed by the news, but how long was that bound to last? And the question of today is, how did we get to this stage? To make this easily understandable, let's divide Doodle World into three forms of major content: the cosmetics, the story, and combat. If I were to make videos about cosmetics, it would just be a montage of me killing pictures or spending real-life money for bundles, effectively feeding the developers. Nothing interesting. The story, well, self-explanatory. It takes a long time for Wish himself to add progression to its keys. Half the time, you're going to be receiving cricket silence. Again, nothing interesting. Because of this, most of the feasible and flexible content comes from PvP, combat, as it usually receives frequent patch notes and change, and the thrill of ranked itself makes it really easy to return to. Before I even started making content, I wanted to get into PvP in a way where it would seem unique. For sure, I can't be just posting unedited footage, slapping commentary and music and just call it a day, just to make it more engaging. And most importantly, I can't be following the styles of other creators around. Most notably, hello everybody, it's me and welcome back to another video. And without asking too much questions to myself, I just started. I made a review about Medicro, my favorite during that time, and it pretty much was just a social footage of me beating others up with a bird with sound effects in the background, mostly coming from memes. But surprisingly, people enjoyed the video, and not long after, I kept on making videos because, you know, I liked it. Others liked it. I was encouraged for it. During the course of my journey, I've also made other videos regarding the two genres mentioned earlier, some of them managing to perform well too. A huge amount of turns in Doodle World are chess battles, which includes a bunch of waiting between turns, which pretty much puts viewers to sleep. That's when I decided to take inspiration from another competitive Pokemon YouTuber, Pan Champion, where they usually create short, fast-paced VGC battles with memes filled to the brim. This allowed me to create popular videos still shown today, and this was the spark that inspired me to keep moving. But eventually, the brightest flames would still burn themselves out. I definitely can't remember when it was, but was it around season 6 or 7? Doodle World just felt boring. After the batch release of Icy Ridge Doodles, everything that came out afterwards was lackluster. It became repetitive, usually with doodles with similar roles, repeated typings. And the worst of all is that many of them feel like exact copies with way too similar stats, moves, and sometimes even just directly outperforming them, effectively turning into power creep. And pretty much whenever someone tells me to review a new doodle, it's just the same thing but better. What? Trying to find things to make a review on became extremely difficult. From something fun, filled with passion, just feels like a chore. I felt tired trying to make mediocre doodles seem worthwhile using by essentially using clickbait terminology. Just to get someone to click felt really pathetic. And with competition around, Doodle World YouTubers will constantly flock towards a showcase, trying to be the first in creating whatever's new. But in short, you get an outcome like this, which is stupidly hilarious sometimes. Another example is that Chronos. It was recently allowed in ranked for a season, but at the end of the day, it's still Chronos. The very same Chronos that's almost 3 years old in the game. A speedy ranged attacker, as if we don't have like a bunch of other doodles that did the same. Call this my fault, but I put my priorities on quality over quantity. I place a lot of my resources into time and editing, which is why I just can't pick out ideas like fruits from a tree. You, the viewer here, should pretty much ask yourself the question, why isn't YouTubers picking up my idea? Well, I've seen a bunch of comments that pretty much suggest an idea or a showcase, which I can't say it's definitely not a bad thing. But YouTubers themselves have to go through a series of judgments to see if the video is worth investing into. For example, if I were to make a video on Calamander, it would pretty much just be a slow pivot, really bulky, and spreads disease. Isn't it similar to something else that already existed in the game? So because of this, it's really normal for a YouTuber to see if the idea itself is bound to perform or not. In either way, it's somewhat like prediction. And in long periods of time, it's common for me to see other content creators producing videos about different games, most notably Lumion Legacy. And this just made me question if retaining this loyalty towards Doodle World is even worth it. That's when just 4 days ago, we received the Battle Arena update, something that's highly anticipated by the community and Wish himself. Could this be the saving grace for our insane content drought?
No.
I mustered my last remaining hope and visited Battle Arena. To my disappointment, 90% of the NPCs I've talked there are all reused. I can count all of the new features here with just 4 fingers. Sure, Wish has mentioned that Battle Arena is supposed to be a social park for battling, but at this point, social park just serves no purpose anymore. Everything Social Park has is migrated to Battle Arena. You can name it the Victory Point Shop, the VP skins, Doodle Market, scroll shops, the unique NPCs, and you're even given the option to queue up for ranked fights. They somehow power crept Social Park. Social Park, an area within Doodle World. The only things that can't be done in Battle Arena is the option for Wonder Trading and Bot Battler. Well, Wonder Trading is nearly as useless as it is. But to be fair, for Bot Battler, it's still useful, as the average player still grinds for the XP there. But other than that, it took 2 whole months of planning, and Wish has never thought how dumb of an idea it is to drag everything from Social Park towards a new feature. There's no reason to take trips for Social Park anymore, other than just using Bot Battler mentioned earlier. You know, let's see what's new. We have a knockout corner. So to put it in simple terms, we have an NPC here that gives you fights. If you win against him, you get some gems as rewards, and you can claim these gems once a week. Sounds similar enough? Yeah, we just got a copy and paste of John Doodle, except it's a 3v3. You're given a set amount of doodles to use, so you know that the fight is winnable in some way. And if they thought that copying one NPC wasn't enough, they had to copy 2 John Doodles. So, what's the difference with the second one? Instead of giving you gems, he gives you victory points. And instead of fighting with randomly selected doodles for you to use, you get to pick your own. Yeah, there isn't really much. And if you pretty much just walked around and talked with the other NPCs, they're pretty much just the same ones that you have met before. and you realize that how many of these NPCs are just old and reused content. However, there are 2 more new NPCs, and one of them just gave an extra boost to a specific tint you want encountered. Yeah, we got a cosmetic mechanic in Battle Arena. So, the last mechanic I'm going through is the tiered fights, where in the center of this building, it looks like Wonder Trade, but instead of it being Wonder Trading, it's a tiered fight. And to my disappointment, it's another 3v3 that you can use your own doodles against it. So it's a copy and paste of one of the NPCs at the knockout center. And the last thing I wanted to look into this update is the old NPC, where they allow you to teach a set pool of moves. And the saddest thing is, this is the only source of actual content within the update, as doodles can now learn some bizarre moves, run some bizarre sets such as Sharpened Rotera or Mind Empowerment Somberrock, which is just a direct upgrade from Cakewalk. But other than that, there's barely anything new given within the update. And this whole gameplay footage took me like 10 minutes to just finish looking at Battle Arena. Time and time again, Doodle World's updates and contents just became more disappointing over the months. It definitely isn't helping when the developer continues to recycle events from past year with the exact same map, same GUI, and way too many of them are grind festivals that provide little to no gameplay just for the sake of adding event skins that don't really hold much value. But hey, if these event skins don't hold much value, why do people play? Gambling. If you notice something about these events is that they have something in common, which is the element of gambling, which could either be presents, Halloween candies. For example, during the summer event, there's a summer roulette that allowed you to stand a chance to win a mistint of your choice. And the Christmas event, well, if you redeem a level 5 present, you stand a chance to redeem a mistint from your gift. Now, people didn't really play for the event skins, they wanted to win a mistint, one of the rarest assets in Doodle World. And because of these updates, the values was eventually killed over time, where previous doodles used to hold great value is now considered nothing, or just bare scrap value. Another thing I noticed about these events is they have a main purpose, which is to get the player to stay in-game as long as possible. This usually happens by making the progress slower, gruesome, and time-consuming, so that the developer can cash out more from play count and playtime, making the game more repetitive as a whole. Not to mention, the bundles added into the game killed the value of mistints, as they are barely worth anything right now. You know, slowly seeing the people around me throwing in the white towel just makes me feel anxious. Speeder is more focused on Lumion Legacy, and he claims to be making Doodle World content whenever he feels like it. But that's just his statement of semi-retirement already. Another popular creator that my audience would also watch is Cardio Luigi, better known as Marza, as he chose to leave the game since he's chasing for better goals such as Forsaken and Battle Cats, which is something I can't blame him for since the content there is much more vast in variety. And looking around, I asked myself the same question once again. Is this loyalty worth it?